So, I'll be honest, I wasn't too fond of school. Yeah, it was a good place to hang out with my friends, and that was great, and some of the professors were cool. But really, the testing, the regular school stuff, I didn't care too much about. With that said though, I didn't struggle too much with school. In high school, I made my share of mistakes. X equals 4.2. Rolando, we're in history class right now. But I didn't do too bad until I got to medical school. Now that was different. I remember receiving my first below average test score, and I said, wow, medical school is hard. From then I vowed to work harder, work longer, work smarter, and you know, things got a little better. Glomerulonephritis, polycystic kidney disease. But when I still got test scores and showed that I was struggling, I got discouraged. Maybe a little more than discouraged. Okay, that was an understatement. I was downright depressed. I couldn't really function. I couldn't focus. I couldn't do the normal things I'm used to doing. I remember calling the clinic that I was working at the time, telling them that I couldn't make it. I just stayed in bed. It's a beautiful day and I just stayed in bed. There was a sense of impending doom. I was trying to diagnose my situation, and the only thing that made sense was an anxiety attack. I started thinking to myself, like, what if I just quit? The reason why I stuck through it for so long, because I was scared of failing. I called the school and said, I have to stop school for a while. Honestly, I didn't know if I would come back. I remember having that phone call with my mom. Basically, I was telling her that I was a failure, and basically just tell her that I'm sorry. That was a difficult conversation. I was scared of failing. To the last year, the year before I was supposed to graduate, that I actually had a breakdown and decided maybe this is not the best for my health right now. It was all because I was scared of failing. And because I was so scared, that's exactly what happened. Pretty much, I kept failing. First thing we need to understand is the fear of failure is not actually a normal thing for us. As human beings, you were not made to be afraid of failure. Automatically, we're scared of bears, lions, tigers, oh my. We're scared of those things that can pretty much eat us. That makes sense. Maybe even deep waters, just because we don't know what's in there. Things that are unknown, yeah, we're naturally scared of it. The dark, hopefully you're still not scared of the dark. But you know, when we're kids, we're scared of the dark. I'm not scared of the dark, not anymore. I conquered that fear 2 days ago. These are things that we're naturally scared of because it makes sense that we're scared of it. But failure, you know, your life is not in danger when you fail. Well, for the most part, okay? Like a tightrope walker, you know, if you fail, your life's in danger. Okay, it makes sense. But for the most part, with our everyday just living, failure is not life-threatening. Being rejected or anything like that, that's not a threat to your life. I remember when I was single, approaching a girl was so terrifying. But the truth of the matter is, that girl's not gonna kill me. She's not a threat to my life. At least not at first. But rejection was so terrifying. But the thing is, that's not a normal thing. If we think about babies are hilarious. They think everything's great. Imagine a baby learning to walk. They get up, they fall over. They get up, they fall over. They get up, they fall over. They keep getting up and falling over. They just keep doing that. It's not like they get super discouraged either. Maybe they'll start crying or pouting here and there, but for the most part, give them a minute and they're back to that goofy smile and, like, you know, they want to get up again, as if they forgot about the whole falling down thing. For us adults, we try something, we fail once, and we're like, yeah, it was a good effort, let's move on to something else. And that's it. You know, as adults, we try things for the third time and fail. And then people are like, wow, you really are a failure. You should try something else. Imagine this. What if took that same thing with babies? Imagine if good old Jimmy is trying to learn to walk here. Jimmy gets up, falls over. Jimmy gets up again and falls over. He gets up, falls over. And you know what? That's a third time, Jimmy. That's the third time. You know what, Jimmy? Maybe you ought to try something else. You know what? You've been doing crawling pretty well. How about you stick to that? You know, that's not how it works. And Jimmy's mind doesn't work that way. You know, Jimmy's gonna keep getting up. That's just the way it goes. That's how babies are, Dr. R. That's just how they work. Let's just understand that you were a baby once. I was a baby once. And so we had that mindset. It didn't really matter. We fall down to get up. We fall down to get up. Failure doesn't stop them. But yet as adults, we let it stop us. Why is that? For the most part, we have a culture in which failure is so frowned upon. In our school system, you get punished for being wrong. It's almost you're being punished for trying. And so you're kind of like, well, maybe I shouldn't try. This is the thing that embeds in our minds. When there's something new to try, I could fail at it, so maybe I shouldn't try it. I want to also point out that when we do fail, for the most part, what are the consequences? I get it, like at your work, your job, there are major consequences. If you fail one time, you could lose your job. But for the most part, going and talking to the girl, she doesn't like you. What are the consequences of that? No harm to me physically, no harm to my finances, failing at trying to play an instrument. There's really nothing wrong with trying and failing at these things. If for the most part our failures do not bring us bodily harm, threaten our lives in any way, why are we so scared? What are the consequences of failing? Well, all of a sudden you have a reputation for failing at something. Your social status, how you rank socially, that can change. But you see where I'm getting at here? For the most part, it's about what other people think about you. Are we afraid of failing because of what people may think of us? Truth of the matter is we can't really know what everyone is thinking of us, because that's kind of a big world. 7+ billion human beings, or maybe in our small world, what everyone thinks of us in our small world, which is not technically not everyone. So if it's exterior reasons for why we are so afraid of failure, what's the big deal? Our fear of failure really stems from our self-worth. For example, in medical school, I found out that depending on how good my grades were, that was equivalent to how I valued myself. If I was getting the A's, if I was performing well, my self-worth was high. But when I got to medical school, the possibility of failing a test was so prevalent. My self-worth was so down. But does that make sense? My value of a person, should it really depend on a letter that a professor puts on a test? So my self-worth was tied to something that was, 1, always fluctuating, and 2, not within my control. Now I'm not saying that you shouldn't have a fear of failure. The same with me saying you should never fear a big bear. No, you should be plenty scared of a big bear. But what I'm saying is failure should not scare you to the point that you're not even going to try. You're not even going to consider the option of trying. Not even entertain the possibility of trying. I think when fear of failure has gotten you to that point, then I think it's unhealthy. The other thing is, I really do believe there's steps to success. If you've never failed at all, then you've never really tried anything. That's the way it works. Trying means attempting, failing, attempting again, getting a little better, then failing again. This is how it works. Eventually, that violinist becomes world renowned. Eventually, that soccer player gets a World Cup. This is how it works. This is how you get to success, is by constantly failing. So I love my wife very, very much. I look back on the times when I was interested in someone else and didn't work out. And I was like saying, God, why didn't you make it work out? What's going on? And at those times, I'll tell you, I really, really felt like a failure. That relationship failed and that other one failed. These things happen in their life, and at the time it hurts so bad. But I'm really grateful for those times. Getting rejected, getting my heart stomped on. I'm grateful for those because now that I have my wife, I appreciate her so much. And I'm looking back and I'm glad those things didn't work out, because they were just not the right people and I was not the right person. But if I didn't go through those little failures, those times where I just got rejected and got hurt, and I changed and I adjusted and I grew. You kind of have to keep failing in order to finally find that success. So what did end up happening to me? Obviously, you can call me doctor now, right? So I didn't actually quit. I did have to stop for quite some time. But then when I went back, I had a totally different attitude about failure. Yes! It's a lot better than last time. Where I failed, I pretty much just asked the professor, like, so I failed again, but it was better than the last one. What do I gotta do to get better? My self-worth, who I was as a person, was not dependent on the letter grade that is placed on my test score. I needed to get through it to get my degree, but whether I got it or not, I still saw myself as a valuable human being. Failure did not determine my self-worth. Thank you for watching, guys. If you found value in this content, like and subscribe. That really helps the channel. We can keep talking about things worth saying. Hope everyone's staying safe at home out there. The next video is going to be about grit. Grit is the #1 determinant of whether you're going to meet your goals. This is Dr. R, and this is Worth Saying. Yeah, it was a good place to hang out with my friends, and that was great. And some of the professors were cool.